We are experimenting here with live feed, live broadcast, social media type platform, YouTube. Uh, on one level, I want people to be aware that this is all very alien to me. All of the whole social media platform, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Twitter or whatever the hell, it's something I've always kind of resisted. I don't feel 100% comfortable with all the zip zaps and the zap zips and this super crazy highway. It feels sometimes like we are going breakneck speed as a society with an S turn straight ahead and a big giant oak tree right there. And by the way, nobody ever tied a yellow ribbon around it. So I want us to slow down a little on some of these things, what's going on. But on another level, this is, insofar as this live feed right now, this is right in my wheelhouse because every radio show I've ever aired with has been live, always live. And I think you have to have a certain confidence level when you're doing a live broadcast, whether it's here with this live feed that we're doing now or on radio. Your confidence level has to be way up there that you're not going to flub in some horrible way, because it's easy to flub on all things politics, that's for sure. The one thing that's obviously very different here is I'm used to having only the mic and the on-air light, and I don't have my mug up front and center. So I kind of prefer the mic because this way it's only me and the mic, and I can and my producer. I've had incredible producers over the years. So really good ones. And we'll get to that at a later date. I could tell you some really funny stories of how some of these producers ended up coming my way. So I am in my wheelhouse insofar as live broadcast. I'll tell you two of my all-time favorite live interviews. One was Ralph Nader, who I've interviewed more than once, and he's really an enjoyable guy to fight with. And we were fighting about healthcare. Now, guys like Ralph Nader, they always want that single-payer system and this, that, and the other. And he says to me, here's what Ralph Nader says on the air. This is at a CBS-owned WGHQ, the big talker, DC market. And Ralph Nader says to me, Rob, you got 40,000 people a year dying because they don't have health care coverage. Don't you Republicans care about them? No, Ralph. We Republicans want them all to drop dead where they stand. What kind of question is that? Of course, it's not about whether people care or not. It's a question of what we do with those feelings of caring for others. So I'm like, all right, so Ralph, you want to overhaul 99% to address the 1%, because 40,000 is roughly 1% of the country. So you want to overhaul 99% to fix that sliver. That's stupid. So, I mean, you can address that head on. And by the way, Ralph, I say, did it ever occur to you and people like you that some of those people were going to die anyway? Even if they had the health care coverage, die around the same time. So it's not as if we know for sure that 1% of the people whose lives were lost was strictly because they didn't have health care coverage at the time of their deaths. So you don't overhaul 99% to fix 1%. Of course not. You address the 1% head on. Or if you look at the total of people that didn't have health care coverage, forgetting those that died, you want to look at the total number of people who were not covered was about 15%. So in this case, you want to overhaul the entire thing, 85%, to fix the 15% that weren't covered? How the hell does that make sense? It doesn't. And by the way, of the 85% that had healthcare coverage, 91% or so, depending on which statute, it's about in the 90% range, were perfectly happy with their health care just the way it was before Obama came along and made a giant mess of everything. So, I mean, it's just an enormous mess now. And it wasn't that way. All we had to do really was expand Medicaid. That's really all we needed to do. So what you do in reality, what you're supposed to do in a situation like this is you're supposed to go ahead and streamline Medicaid. You streamline it. You get rid of the waste, the fraud, the duplication, the abuse. You get rid of all. You streamline the damn thing, and then you increase, say, the total dollar amount necessary So if somebody has to be earning less than 30,000 or 20,000 a year, you make it as 25 for a family of four. You get them into Medicaid after streamlining it. Instead, what Obamacare did was take the waste, the fraud, the duplication, and the abuse and put it on all of us. And so now this is what the baseline is for his successor. His successor now has to deal with that baseline. And it's not as if Donald Trump had come in that without Obamacare, that he would have gone with the American Health Care Act that they got voted on yesterday. No, that's his baseline. That's what he's got to work with. It's already in. It's got its tenets and its fingers everywhere. So it's the reality of the situation we find ourselves in. Obamacare is a boondoggle. You saw, all these people that are screaming about how many people are going to lose their health care because of the American Health Care Act that the Trump administration put out there. There's a few things that need to be looked at there real quick. Number one, it's you're looking at numbers that you can't really get a fix on. And number two, it's like they're making it up as they go. And number two, how many people were horribly affected by Obamacare? How many? You had families that their co-pays were going through the roof, their premiums through the roof, their deductibles through the roof. Obamacare wreaked havoc on this country, clearly. And yes, I think it was intentional and deliberate. He uses people's sense of kindness of everybody should have healthcare coverage to go ahead and use it against everyone. In any case, no matter how you slice it, it was a boondoggle that hurt a lot of people. You got phase one now of the American Health Care Act. You're going to see phase two and phase three. Now, a second person, and then hopefully Democrats and Republicans can pull together on it from there. Not one Democrat voted for this, probably as a tip for nobody voted for Obamacare on the other side. I'm not voting for anything. Morons. And the 20% or the 20 total of Republicans that didn't vote for this ought to be ashamed of themselves. Oh, it doesn't go far enough. Yeah, it's phase one. You got phase two and phase three. I had a friend yesterday say to me, oh, we're going to lose the midterms over this. Not a chance. Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing. And this is the bill that the president of the United States, the Republican president, wanted through. So let's be real happy that he got what he wanted as phase one of three phases on healthcare in America, having inherited what he did. So he's working with the baseline that he's got. And people to the far right that are saying, no, this doesn't go far enough, shut the hell up and compromise. Compromise is a good thing if with the right people. And Donald Trump and the Trump administration are the exact right people. So let's understand that there's phase two and phase three coming up. Now, a second interview that I enjoyed very much was with Glenn Beck. And we talked about the media. I say to Glenn Beck, this is back when he was on Fox News every day, 5 to 6 p.m. He had a hugely popular show there. And I say to him, Glenn, the days of Woodward and Bernstein are over. Journalism is all but dead in America. His answer back, no, Rob, journalism is dead in America. My answer back, You got some newspapers and some magazines that keep the editorial where it's supposed to be. You got some people that do editorial and op-ed, and the rest of their newspaper, front cover and all that is who, what, where, when, why, and how, straight news. You do have some. And of course, there's Fox News, which is a real journalistic outfit. So they are fair and balanced. They tell you, I can give you so many examples of it. So of Fox News versus all the other liars out there. Bunch of liars, filthy, rotten liars. They make me sick. They should make all of us sick. And the Daily News is a great example of filthy, rotten liars. So while I said to Glenn Beck, no, there are, so journalism is not completely dead. His point is well taken. The vast majority of print media in this country no longer tells you who, what, where, when. Hey, that was my friend Johnny. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. They made it more about them. Don't worry, we'll tell you how to think with their filthy lies. They're brainwashing people. Day in, day out, people are sitting on their couches, their living room couches, just getting brainwashed. It's disgusting to watch because I know the truth. The truth is right before all of us. We don't have to be geniuses to see the truth. Truth is pretty obvious, actually. Now, here's the Daily News. Today's paper, they say, what the hell they say here? Long road, they say. Long road to yes is seen in Senate. Long road. Long road. He said 100 days. Long road. That's lickety split. That's the shortest way. We're talking about overhauling healthcare, and he did it in a snap of the finger. Long road. Morons. This is just unbelievably stupid. Ain't no long road. And by the way, President Trump has signed into legislation more pieces, more items than any president in U.S. history since Harry S. Truman. Take that in. It's long road. My ass, long road, stupid ass jackass morons. Here's another headline or a bullet point in the Daily News. Prez booed in his hometown return. Prez booed in his hometown return. Okay, I'm going to rewrite that for you. President booed by far-left, loony-loopy, moronic liberals in New York City. Huh. Look, let me tell you what. There are a lot of people here in New York that love Donald Trump. Let's be real clear on that. See, Donald Trump, he's a New Yorker. And has a very New York style. He'll tell you right where to go and right how to get there. And the fact that he's taking the so-called media out to the woodshed every day is beautiful. Just beautiful. Finally, a New Yorker telling them right where it's at. The sad thing is that a lot of New Yorkers that love him, they stay underground. You won't hear them say how much they love Donald Trump. They're scared to death because if they could lose their job. That's how mean the other side is. You look at people like all on the left, all across the left. And by the way, somebody just showed me something that I wanted to touch on. Speaking of the left, Colbert, Stephen Colbert, this freaking idiot. What is it? What is his name again? Colbert, yeah. Actually, I did know his name. Stephen Colbert. Actually, the SEC can come down on CBS in a hard way there. He broke a law when he did what he did about talking about cockslang or whatever the hell he was talking about on a major network. Holster. It's kind of a slam on the gay community in a sense. They're pretty up in arms about it. The hell was he thinking? How do you go on that much of a nasty little rant? And I've always kind of respected Colbert because he is humorous. He's got great wit. He does a decent job overall of making you laugh and making points that may have some legitimacy to him. But overall, he's okay. Even though overall he's okay, when he does things like that, his credibility is as shot as Alex Jones's credibility took a hard blow when he went after a yogurt company for no damn reason. These people, what the hell? Why can't any of these people ever just play it straight? I mean, at all. When I say ever, why can't any of these people on a continuum play it straight down the line without going off of the deep end on these things like Colbert attacking the president of the United States with his nasty little vitriolic garbage? Stephen Colbert ought to be ashamed of himself, and he really would have been fired for that. If somebody had said anything along those lines about President Obama on any network anywhere, that had been screams for that person to be fired, they probably would have been fired in a day. That's real. So lastly, I'm going to say it really isn't about bias. It's about lies. And lies are no good no matter who they're coming from. So I would say keep your eye on the bouncy ball. Know a lie when you see one. I'm Rob Arnold. I say yes, keep the proper perspective.